Hi, welcome to the fourth video tutorial of the OSL Programming Nodes add-on. In this video I will be talking about a special type of functions, the if functions. If functions allow you to execute certain parts of your node tree based on some condition. In this example we'll be creating a material that switches between a diffuse and glossy shader based on a single input value. To do so, we'll need to create two if functions, one for the diffuse shader and one for the glossy shader. So I'll open the if nodes over here, create a new node tree and call it if diffuse. Then I of course need to add the input and output nodes, which in this case are called the if input and output. I'll immediately add in my shader, which is a diffuse shader, and I'll already connect it. Then I create the second if tree, the if glossy. I'll just do the same again with the input and output nodes. And I'll also add in the glossy shader. To use these functions, we need to add a node to our main material. This node is called the if node. And from here we can select our if functions. Now, as you can see, you've got the shader output, but you also have an extra input, which isn't in the if function. This input is a condition. It's an integer value, and if it's set to 0, this node tree is not executed. But if it is not 0, so any value other than 0, whether that is 1 or a million, it gets executed. Now we'll add a new input parameter to our shader, which is of type integer, and we connect it to both if nodes. Right now they'll both get executed at the same time or not at all, but we of course want only one of them to be executed, so we need to add a new math node, which is the Boolean math node. We'll put it in between here and set it to not, so that this function always gets the opposite value of the function above it. Now we only want our shader to have one shader output, but we've got two shader outputs over here, so we need to select one of them. With shaders that's pretty easy. We'll just add an add shader node, and when we add these together, one of them is always completely black, so if we add them together we just get one of the colors. So we can connect it, then we compile it and refresh the node, and then we can render it, and as you can see right now it's glossy, and if I change this value it becomes diffuse. We also want to be able to change the colors of the shaders, of course, so we'll just need to add another parameter to both our if functions. So the color of the glossy shader and also the roughness. As you can see, the if node gets updated immediately. I'll also do the same with the diffuse node. For that we'll just add a color. And now we can connect both of these if nodes to the shader input node. Also give them proper names. So this is the diffuse color, the glossy color, and the glossy roughness. I compile it and I refresh the script node. And now I can change the glossy roughness. As you can see, you've got glossy reflections right now. Now you won't always have shader outputs in your if functions. Sometimes you'll just have values, and then you can't use the add shader node. And the add shader node only works here because there's always a neutral default value, which is black. But maybe in other functions that is not the case. And then you really need to select one of the values instead of adding them together. And for that you've got the select node. You can connect two values to it. These values should be of the same type, otherwise you'll get an error. And you can also connect a Boolean to it. So that is just the same Boolean that's connected to the if node. and then we'll connect it to the output as well. I'll refresh the nodes again and the script node. And as you can see, the right value still gets selected. With if functions, you can do a lot more than just select one of two values. You can create very complex conditions using the Boolean math node. You can use if functions from within other if functions. You could, for example, create a very complex material but disable a small part of it to make it faster during rendering, if you only want preview renders. If you know how to use them, the possibilities are endless, really.